someone, and he is a ruthless Wall Street legend, bought some Bitcoin and some other stuff. Ken Griffin. Also, a lot of people do not like him because he's behind what happened with GME and AMC and the naked short selling, and he bailed out Melvin Capital, all that stuff, right? So not a lot of people are fans of Ken Griffin either. But regardless, he did buy a huge stake in Silvergate, that crypto bank that George Soros also invested in. And it's not just them. I talked about BlackRock this morning. BlackRock last month, just a few weeks ago, also said they are boosting their stake in Silvergate. You have BlackRock, you have Citadel, you have George Soros, all investing in Silvergate, which is a crypto-friendly bank. Makes you wonder what they know that others don't. Because Silvergate stock is down about 90% due to their ties with FTX, but they have some of the biggest endorsers, biggest billionaires that are endorsing them, right? Makes you think, do these guys know something's up? What's going on, right? What's going on? Who is this Wall Street legend? Well, that's none other than George Soros. Another George, okay? So not only did he purchase a ton of crypto stocks, Marathon Digital, MicroStrategy, Silvergate, okay? So Marathon Digital is a miner. MicroStrategy is, you guys know MicroStrategy. And Silvergate Bank, which is a crypto-friendly bank, right? He loaded up on all three, okay? Not only that, his own CEO says the George Soros Fund owns Bitcoin. How much? He's like, yeah, some, but not a lot. But not a lot to George Soros could be hundreds of millions of Bitcoin, all right? So, bottom line, even George Soros, yes, another George, is a ruthless investor, ruthless guy. Not a lot of people are a fan of him, but nevertheless, he made a whole bunch of money, and now he is trying to make a whole bunch of more money with Bitcoin-related companies and Bitcoin itself, right? So I think that's pretty big. Someone like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger will never come around, I don't think. But it shows you, well, someone else that's almost as old, maybe even older. I don't even know how old George Soros is, right? He's more open-minded. He does not mind holding Bitcoin because he truly understands, and he truly understands the future. Or someone on his team truly understands and convinced him. Either way, he does own a ton of Bitcoin, and that's, I guess, overall a win. Let's take that. Let's take that as a win. You know how recently we just dipped down, right? Just a little bit. Super Bowl Sunday, we saw Bitcoin dip down to 21.6. And again, some people were panicking, not I, and not any of you guys that tuned in. But you know what? What did the whales do? Did they panic? No. In fact, they just kept buying, right? So according to sentiment, the volume exploded during that small little dip that we had. Small little dip, and this comes after the price already went down. So it just shows you that whales, they're not giving up. They're just accumulating, and they take, they're very calculated with their buys, and of course they buy when other people like retail investors are panicking, right? And they keep buying and buying and buying. That's simply what's happening right now, right? We are recovering. There's basically. Well, I'll get to it. I'm ahead of myself, but I'll show you something interesting. But before that, this is also interesting. Number of addresses with non-zero balances. You could see it now. It's starting to climb up more rapidly now than ever before. So now we're above 44 million, but you can see right at the tail end of that, within the last month or so, you could see the balances. Or addresses, I should say. Number of addresses, going from somewhat like of a slow incline now to like a really steep incline. Okay, there's definitely people coming into space. There's definitely holders that are still DCing and new retail investors coming into this space, along with institutional investors and everyone else. And also, this is looking pretty darn good. This is showing what happened in 2021, 2022 when Bitcoin topped out, right? You look at the bottom there, stochastic RSI was very, very high. So it made sense that Bitcoin was going to come down, but that was when Bitcoin was at like 60-something thousand. But now we are not at 60-something thousand. We are at exact opposite. Look at stochastic RSI, barely turned above, and we have broken above that trend line. And these are great things. And what is it going to lead to? Well, keep in mind, we had many instances like this before where we have fallen, pretty significantly, stayed there, and then we broke out, right? So we just recently had a golden cross. And last time this happened in 2019 when we were recovering from bottom, good things happen. Very good things happen. And that's how we got up to $60-something thousand, right? And that was after falling to 3,000 in 2018. And then we pretty much shot up to 60-something thousand, right? After the next halving event. And we are approaching the next halving event in 2024. So are we mimicking what has happened before? It certainly looks like it. And there's a lot of charts and metrics that compare what we're going through right now versus before. And it's repeating. It's almost too similar, but it is. So great things are coming, and the next breakout, that's why I labeled my title, the next breakout could be absolutely massive. You just have to have patience. Yeah, and take a look at this. Right? Does it not look like history is repeating? Right? Coming up, this is after we came up in 2019 all the way to like 14,000. Then unfortunately we had like a COVID dip, right? But otherwise we were in that channel. And then after we broke out of the channel, look at that breakout. It just kept going, right? And look at our current trajectory right now, our current path in that same channel. We did break below because of FTX. So this time we didn't have a COVID crash. We had an FTX crash. We recovered fully from the FTX crash. We're in that channel once again. And again, if we do break out of this channel, just like before, right, we could have a tremendous run to the upside, right? So looking good. You have the NFTs, Ordinals, and it's exploding on Bitcoin. Over 100,000 Ordinals minted. This is causing controversy because a lot of Bitcoiners do not want this to happen, do not want all this NFTs and pictures and text and all this extra data to be stored on the blockchain, right? But it's happening, and people are loving it. You can see the volume down here. It's exploding, right?